May this video be the beacon that lights your way, offering insights and direction for your journey.
Namaskaram Sadhguru. You said that depending upon how compulsive we are and as per our karma we attract certain situations, or life arranges itself accordingly. But for an enlightened being who has no karma, what determines the nature of situation he or she gets into, or the way life pans out? We have seen you face some of the most challenging situations. What is the mechanics behind this?
The question should be about you. So, whoever told you an enlightened being does not have karma? An enlightened being has immense karma, much more than others. Yes. Because without karma, if you're at a certain level of energy, without a certain weightage of karma, you cannot remain grounded. This is why 90% of the time enlightenment and leaving the body happens at the same time. Because if you do not consciously ground yourself with substantial, weighty kind of karma, then you cannot stick to the body. First thing to understand is that karma is not some negative trash. It's only because of karma you are who you are. When we say karma, we're talking about layers and layers of memory which makes you who you are. There is evolutionary memory which makes you a human being. Suppose your body lost its evolutionary memory, well, you may start crawling because you're a human being not by knowledge, by a huge amount of evolutionary memory invested in every cell in your body, which makes you be human. You have seen when we do certain programs which are connected to getting into or putting our fingers into deep levels of karma like samyama, certain people start crawling, certain people start doing things. This is simply because we are sinking certain things deep inside, it's touching their evolutionary karma and things are happening. Well, there is an immense amount of karma, starting from the evolutionary or even before, the elemental karma is there, we will not go into it, it's too complex. But you understand the evolutionary karma. Let's say, see right now the frogs are happy in the evening for whatever reasons, they're doing quack, quack, quack. I don't know who found the connection about kissing the frog and turning them into human beings all those things, but suppose you lost your evolutionary karma and somewhere around amphibious life, somewhere around a frog, you stopped. After that, what memory you had is gone. Suddenly, you may be a princess, but you will turn into a frog. Yes? Because it's this memory which is so invested in every cell in your body, which gives you a human form and a sense of being human being. So who you are, essentially, the shape and form of you is just karma, because it's memory. Like this, there are many levels of it, I will not go into all of it. Now, there is a genetic karma. Because of that, you have a particular kind of nose, a particular kind of, a skin, particular behavioral aspects, certain amount of capabilities and incapabilities. Genetic karma is there. After that, your own stuff is there, articulate, inarticulate, and now conscious karma. Now, karma is not a negative thing if you know how to use it. But if you do not become conscious enough to use it, then it runs like a software. Let us say there is a software on the computer you use or the phone that you use. I think computers are gone. Only a few people seem to be using computers, everybody is only this. So, phone is a computer in a way. So whatever software that is on it, well, whatever work you're doing, let's say every 11 seconds, I'm choosing that number intentionally, every 11 seconds you will do boom, boom, doom. Every 11 seconds is good, boom, boom, doom. Believe me, after a few months, you yourself will start doing every 11 seconds, boom, boom, doom. Yes, you will. But the software is only in the phone. But if it keeps on doing it every day, see right now the chant is going on around the ashram, some of you, why is it going on all the time? But slowly, unknowingly, yoga, yoga that's how it is. We are programming you towards liberation. Many people and you yourself may be programming yourself to bondage. Because a whole lot of people are always trying to build bonds with something or the other, because they think only by tying themselves to something or somebody, they will feel safe. If you have a bond, with age it becomes bondage. No, I'm just playing with you. But all bonds unconsciously developed and unconsciously it exists with you, become bondages. Well, bonds are like, a sailor will throw an anchor in a place so that there, in case there is a small storm, the boat doesn't go away somewhere, so you put an anchor. It's a very good thing if you want to be safe in one place. But you are in a damn boat because you want to sail. So if you keep on putting 5, 10 anchors, obviously you will be safe, but you will never sail. So you have to make up your mind, you want to sail or you want to be safe. So, you have seen me go through all kinds of situations, all kinds. I don't know who's asking this question, how does he know what all I go through? Too many things, all kinds of rubbish. Lots of wonderful things also, lots of absolutely wonderful things. But lots of trash also comes my way. Well, what's his name? That's his real name? Nishant? Shashank. So no, Shashank has been very closely around me to see all the nonsense that comes my way. Anyway, if Shashank is well informed because he has access to somebody around me, or he's just reading it in the news, all the nonsense, unfortunately, in the news, only the nonsense they're reporting. All the wonderful things that happens to me, they don't usually report. That's their karma. So, lots of absolutely wonderful things every day being thrown at me. If nobody throws anything, anyway I sit very wonderful wherever I am. But some trash also comes my way. Well, the trash is coming not simply because when you have nothing to lose and nothing to gain, you can do whatever you want. Either you can go sit in a mountain cave, simply blissed out, or you can get active in the world. You can do many things. You can be somewhat active, somewhat withdrawn, or all out active, depends. What's your choice? My choice has been shaped by the needs in the world, not by my whim. Till till I consecrated Dhyanalinga, there was only one intent. Because I'm somebody's slave, I don't want to tell you all those terrible things which have been beautiful to me. A man who doesn't even want to touch me with his foot, he touches me with a stick, I served that man for 3 lifetimes. So, that's a terrible story, but with fantastic results. Because I'm result-oriented, I value the result, I don't resent the touch with the stick. Many of you have these issues, that's why I'm telling you. Sadhguru didn't even look my way. He doesn't So, because my activity since Dhyanalinga, till then I was not bothered about anything else, just one thing. I thought that's it and with that I will even end. Because I had not created an intent in my mind as what I will do beyond that. So things collapsed, things happened, whatever, that's all history now, every one of you know it probably. When the body began to collapse very badly, when my basic structure got very badly damaged and became almost like what to say, little crippled, then it became like a challenge, let's see if we can get back. And there were also some absolutely wonderful and dedicated people around me who were willing to give their life if necessary. So for their sake and also as a challenge, if we can really build back the system, we took up certain things and started working, which is another kind of karma. Well, those of you who have seen me since 99, that is 1999, because a whole lot of millennials who do not know there was a 20th century, you know. So in the year 1999, if you had seen me, and today you're seeing me, well, in terms of physical well-being, I'm leaps and bounds ahead of what I was 20 years ago. In 20 years, decline should have happened, but in 20 years, I'm way better than what I was. It's clearly visible in every way. So, once we successfully built back the system, then the question was, okay, what the hell do we do? My long-term dream, you know, that I will ride away across the world. Not a care in the world, simply full tank, open road, gone. That was the dream of that time. Even if my stomach was empty, it didn't matter. Motorcycle tank was full, road was empty, this virus time, this lockdown time, should be really nice to ride. Almost every road is like a racetrack, but I'm not allowed to ride, so So, that dream I thought, shall I revive? But all the people around me, without them I wouldn't have had the intent to go through that enormous striving that it took of almost 3 years or 3.5 years to build back the system. I wouldn't have had the intent without all these people looking hopefully at me. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have had the intent to build it back. So then naturally got involved with people, their spiritual process. Then when you went to teach spiritual process, then you saw people are hungry, somebody is sick, nothing happening for them, so we got involved in the social process. Then we saw even if somebody is just about getting enlightened, there is not even a tree in the village. So we started planting trees to a point where people are calling me tree planter. So all this karma. But what do you think? Look at me and tell me, you think this karma is taking a toll on me? Sometimes I might not have slept well, I may look little… But does it look like it's taking a toll on me? Because I want you to understand, all of you, get this straight. The simplest way to deal with all the humongous mountains of karma that you may have, because if you have a Himalayan-sized karmic background, it's very good. That means you have a complex structure. But if this complex structure tortures you and you will use your torture to torture everybody else around you, then it's a disaster. But if you use this complexity, because complexity is needed to come out with very significant solutions, if you have no complexity, usually you're called a simple fellow in England. In India, we call them simpleton. People will have compassion for you, but no passion for you. Yes, that's a sad way to live. So now, if you want to deal with your karma, the simplest thing is, you sit here, absolute dispassion for this one, total passion for everything else. This is all. Right now the problem is people have enormous passion for their life, but they have dispassion for other people's well-being and suffering and whatever is happening. This is why right now the world is saluting the doctors and nurses who are sticking their life out there to work for somebody because they are showing passion for other lives and dispassion for themselves. This is a sure way of release. So this is all you have to do. You must reverse the equation. Too much passion for yourself, no passion for others, no. Absolute passion for every life around you, total dispassion towards yourself. You don't worry about all this karmic nonsense. You are gone, you are free from this rubbish.
How can we translate Gita, the philosophy of Krishna, into augmenting business in India?
I have not read the Gita, so I really have not. I'm sorry, because for me, my own vision has never failed me. So I always kept away from all scriptures because I didn't want to clutter myself with something or the other. The only thing that I learned and I continue to do is, if I look at something, if I look at a person, I know their past, present and future. That is the level of attention I'm paying to them. I don't look at like this. When I look at it completely, with all that I have. If you pay enough attention, there is nothing that will not yield. So I never had any reason or need to go looking for scriptures or something. With all respect and regard for them, it is not that I'm averse to it, it's just that I've not had the time. How this whole process started is, when I was very young, I realized that I just don't know anything. See, if you realize that you do not know, if it's a full-scale realization that you do not know anything, paying attention will be natural, because you know everything. You know this guy, you know this. There are assumptions and assumptions and assumptions. Well, I have used it in a different way, but even if you're doing business, even it's for business purposes, the only reason why one human being seems to be… all the opportunities seems to be going in his direction and not other people, is simply because he is able to see and other people are not able to see. It's not that it's not there for others. One is able to see and others are not able to see. So essentially, a leader means that you're able to see something that others are not able to see. So, attention without intention, simply being attentive, that's what we were trying to do in the afternoon. Not paying attention to something, just practicing attention, a very heightened level of attention, where an unfocused attention, but when you focus it on something, just about anything has to yield, there is no other way to that attention. So, I always focused on enhancing and sharpening my attention, never on retention, because what you gather is not you. Essentially, you know that you exist only because you have some sense of attention right now, isn't it? Suppose you fall asleep and you lose your attention, you do not even know that you exist. So the basis of your existence itself is attention. And this attention need not be mortgaged to anything. You just have to sharpen the attention. See, if you have a knife in your hands, there is no such thing that you have to cut only apples with this. If you have a sharp enough knife, you could cut anything that you want. But the important thing is the knife is sharp enough, so that your attention is keen enough, not for something or the other. If your attention has become very keen, if you wish to do a certain type of activity, you can successfully do it. I think I must say something about my own enterprises at one time. My enterprise started when I was 8 years of age. Because of a strange kind of pride in me, I never ever took a single rupee as a pocket money from my parents. I started making money when I was 6, 7 years of age. By 8, I was quite an accomplished entrepreneur. Simple things. Even today I'm known in Mysore because I caught snakes in everybody's houses. If I caught a snake, they gave me 25 rupees. In 1960s, 25 rupees is $1 million for a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid. I was just on top of the world. So, there is a Food Research Institute, CFTRI. Every Saturday afternoon I went there, I caught 4 or 5 snakes. They measured it. I have to show it to you like this. If it's over 3 feet, I get 50 rupees. Less than 3 feet, I get 25 rupees. On an afternoon, I would make 100, 150 rupees. I don't know if you can imagine, 150 rupees for an 8, 10-year-old kid in 1960s or 70s was like $1 million today. It was big. And I went to so many things, just about anything that came my way. I should tell you a little enterprise that I did which grew into a big business. After my university, where I learned nothing, but I passed. The only thing was, by then I had crisscrossed India on my motorcycle, and I suddenly realized when I went to the borders of India, they asked me for something other than my driving license. I did not even know that there was a passport. See, it's not like today. Today every child, maybe 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid knows he has to have a passport. I'm in my 20s, but I do not know that I need a passport. I went to the border and then they said, "Where is your passport?" I said, "What? I have a driving license." They said, "No, you need a passport." Then I turned back from Nepal border and came back on my motorcycle. So my only dream was, I'm going to just ride across the world. So I wanted to do something, I started kind of farming, commercial farming. I was making money. I thought I will do for 2 years and leave. But in the meantime, my entrepreneurship took off in so many different ways. Like this I went about. And then there was an industry coming up close by, they wanted to build a water treatment plant. I happened to know the person who was running the industry. I just went there and I wanted to meet him. I was sitting in his office, they were discussing something about a water treatment plant. I just heard this and they were looking at the drawings and stuff. Then I asked him, can I apply? Can I do this? Because it is close to my farm, can I do this? He said, no, this is very complex, there are some experts from Mumbai and Bangalore who will come and do it, you cannot do it. I said, give me a chance, let me see. I took the file from him, I went and read through everything. Then I went back to him after 3 days and said, I can do this. He said, don't you do this, you're my friend, I don't want to do this. No, just let me give the tender. So those days, there was something called as Navakarnataka bookstalls. They were selling only the Russian books. You used to get big literature books, you can get Lev Tolstoy's War and Peace for 2 rupees and engineering books for 1 rupee, 2 rupees, all hardbound books. I bought 10 books about water treatment plant, sat down in my farm and poured through this day and night. I made my own new design. I went there and I gave a tender for 1.76 lakhs. Mind you, this is 70s. And the closest tender was 32 lakhs. The highest tender was over 60 lakhs. He looked at this and said, you are funny you're not going to do this. I said, no, I can do it. He said, no way you can do it. Look at this, the nearest tender is 32 lakhs and you're saying 1.76 lakhs. How will you do it? I said, give me 1 more day. I went back again and poured through the books. I said, I'll do it. Then he said, it's 90 days, you must finish this and it must work. If it doesn't work, at your own cost, you must remove it, clean the site and go, and I will not give you a rupee of advance. I again went and poured through the books. I said, I can do it. I completed this in a little over 70 days. I did this in 90,000+ rupees. In one shot, I made 80,000 rupees, just like that. People thought this is a hit. There my construction industry started. Raja Ramanna was coming for RMP plant. He's just coming in a helicopter to see where the site is. There is no anybody there. I just went and met this engineer, he said he was breaking his head, I don't know what to do, I have to mark the site. I said, I've got pegs and white cloth I will just go and mark the site for you. I marked it, they paid me 38,000 rupees for a 15-minute job. I went on my motorcycle and just fixed it myself. Like this my enterprise started and we grew into a major construction company. We were going very big, but then I got enlightened, so I gave up.
Thank you Sadhguru for sharing that story.
If any one of them are missing, you will say, I'm not a complete human being in some way. So, the nature of life and our existence is such, what we think is… because our thought process and our intelligence has given us this wrong feeling that we are the center of the universe. No, the existence is not human-centric. We're just one tiny little creature. Significant though. Significant we are. Because of our ability to be conscious, because of our intelligence, we have become significant, but only in our experience. Only in our experience. In the cosmic nature of things, tomorrow morning this planet may just fly away somewhere and vanish. Huh? Possible or no? Many of the asteroids passing by the Earth are bigger than the planet Earth. That's what these days everybody is fearing, because all these years we did not know what the hell is happening. Now that they have seen some huge asteroids, there's a paranoia. If one of them come and hit us, what will happen? Oh, we will go into pieces, of course. So, who we are is not significant in creation, but significant for us, simply because our experience is rooted in us. Because I hear that you're among the foremost… there are many people here who are foremost spinal surgeons. We refer to the human spine as Merudanda, that means the axis of the universe. I know many people just carrying this little body
already the spine is hurting. Axis of the universe. Terrible. Definitely they need a titanium replacement. Why we're calling this the axis of the universe is, human experience is transmitted largely through the spine. Because it's transmitted through the spine, and our experience is the basis of the universe for us. How do we know there is a world around us? Only because we see, hear, smell, taste and touch. All that is being transmitted through our spine. So, universe exists not because it is there. It exists for us only the way we perceive it. Maybe an earthworm doesn't know there is a moon. Hello? Most probably he doesn't know. He definitely knows there is a sun, I know. But he may not know there is a moon because it may not have any relevance for him. A bird may not know there is a cosmos and he doesn't care probably. But we know all this simply because of our enhanced perception. And this perception is being transmitted. In the process of evolution, one of the most significant steps is… I'm sorry, I'm talking to doctors, but… should I? One of the most significant steps in the process of evolution is the making of the spine or the vertebrae as it is. Why such a thing happened is, when our neurological system started evolving, somewhere the intelligence of life realized it needs protection. When we say our visual apparatus, this is a very complex eye. It is able to distinguish minutest differences in many things which most other creatures on the planet cannot do. The first… even now this sea life exists, there are certain fish in whom there are photosensitive cells. They can just sense there is light, they cannot see anything. That's the first eye. It's being taken as the first evolutionary eye, must be this fish, because it can see light and darkness, that's all. From there, these sensory organs, these neurological developments have been phenomenal. And the richness of our experience is mainly because of the sensitivity of our neurological system. This needed protection, it needed a conduit. So the spine came up. Another significant aspect of ecological process is, from a horizontal spine, it became a vertical spine. So in yoga, there's a whole system of yoga just training you how you can keep your spine erect, to be aligned always. You're standing, sitting, running, doing whatever you want, but you are conscious where your spine is all the time, because this determines how sensitive you are to life. Because your whole experience of life is being transmitted. And our experience of the universe is just the way we experience it, we don't know any other way. Because of that, this is the center of the universe. In the sense, it's like this. See, now this hall, we can see the walls. Now we can say which is the center of this hall, either that one or this one, we can debate a little bit. But when you cannot see the boundaries of this hall, this is universe, you cannot see the boundaries, I can fix the center wherever I want. Wherever there is intensity of experience, that's my center. So, human spine is seen as the center of the universe and also the axis of the universe, depending upon how sensitive you make it. Accordingly, the enlargement of your experience, the enhancement of your experience of life happens, your perception is enhanced beyond your sense perception. Even to go beyond senses, still the neurological basis is very, very significant. This is the reason why we are saying only a human being can realize. The other creatures are not equipped to realize because their neurological system is not sophisticated enough for that.
Sadhguru, in the video we saw the Dhyana Linga, and it is always said that you have consecrated a lot of energy into Dhyana Linga. But we would like to know what is this energy, because if you take the 3,000 people here, we know that there are some people with high energy and some people with low energy. So is it that they are born like that or they are manufactured like that?
It depends what was their breakfast. Pongal and no coffee. After Pongal you need degree coffee.
Degree coffee. So what do you mean by this energy, which you can take it and keep it in a different place, and how do you get energized? People also say, I heard you say that you sleep only for 2.5 hours. So can you tell us the secret?
That was at one time. The first 25 years of my activity, on an average I slept 2.5 to 3 hours a day. These days, becoming a bit lazy. Anywhere between 3.5 to 4.5 hours I'm sleeping. More by… not because of my age, for sure, because nothing has changed that way within me. Just that one thing is, these days nutrition is bad because I'm traveling so much and I'm particular that the food is in a certain level of freshness. Once you leave India, most of the food that appears on your plate is minimum 3 months old. It's very difficult to get something which is fresh. So that makes me go skip meals all the time. I think due to lack of daily nourishment. I get nourishment, once in 2 days, 3 days I get good nourishment. But there is no daily nourishment simply because of excessive travel. I think because of that there is a bit of slackness. I think if I eat well for 2-3 months, I'll be back to 3 hours easily. So, why does one person need, well, by prescription these days, 8 hours, is it?
7 to 8 hours. 7 hours sleep.
Okay, 7 hours. And why another person can do with half of that? See, one thing is, as we already went through, the very physical body that you carry is just the food that you've eaten, isn't it? You are looking at food only as protein, vitamin, mineral like this. But we're talking about a food chain, that means they're all different kinds of lives. What we consume is another form of life. Every animal consumes another form of life. This is the way the food cycle is created. So in what condition that life is will determine in what condition your life is in many ways. So if food appears in front of me, if I just look at it, people have prepared it with elaborate care. If I just look at it, I say no. They'll say, no, Sadhguru, this lady has brought it, she's a very good cook, she's very tasty. I just look at it and say no. Simply because it's not alive enough for me. It may be tasty, but it's not alive enough for me. If it's not alive enough, I will not consume. If you're just conscious of this one thing, you will see your sleep quota will go down. Another thing is, most people are eating at least 50%. 50% means 100% more than what they need to eat. Yes, you will do one thing. As an experiment, just try this. Whatever you're eating, cut it down by 50%. If you're eating, let's say, 2 kilograms of food, cut it down to 1 kilogram and eat variety of foods. You will see you will neither drop weight, nor will you become weak, nor will you become less energetic. Only thing that will happen is, your sleep quota will go down. Because you're putting so much food to generate the same amount of energy, you're eating more by compulsion of liking the taste or simply by compulsion of filling yourself up. Now the body has to process so much food to create so much energy. This extra processing is taking a toll on the system. The amount of impurities that are there in the food will also determine how much inertia you generate in the body. Let's understand it this way, in terms of physical terms, what sleep means is inertia. Right now you're dynamic, this is life, inertia sets in. When inertia goes beyond a certain point, that's death. But sleep is a certain kind of death, but it is offering you rest. So restfulness is very important. What is being restful means is, if you sit here, if you're at total ease, you will see the body is naturally restful. Have you noticed on a particular day, you are very happy, on that day you don't need much sleep or food, have you noticed this? That's all you have to do. If you remain very joyful every moment of your life, the food will come down, sleep will come down naturally. So there are many aspects to this. Fundamentally, if you keep your life energies very exuberant, now you will see the sleep quota will naturally come down. To keep it exuberant, you should not be overladen. Largely, in the ashram, everybody, young people also, eat only 2 meals a day, 10 in the morning, 7 in the evening. Our activity exceeds most people's activity in the world, and we are 7 days, 365 days, we don't know what's a vacation, because we are enjoying what we're doing. We don't want a break. So, they never go on a vacation, there is no break, there's no Sunday, Monday nonsense, nothing, every day something is happening endlessly. But you will see, people are very energetic, healthy, sleep is very little. So, energetically, a human being can be at different levels. Why this is important is, see, what we call as life is just a combination of two things, a certain amount of energy and a certain amount of time. When it comes to time, it is ticking away for all of us at the same pace. Clock doesn't run slowly for me, faster for you, there's no such thing. Whether you are busy, you are lazy, you are sleeping, you are doing useful things or useless things, it doesn't matter what you do or you do not do, time is ticking away. So there's no such thing as time management. You can manage your energy. If you raise your energy to a higher pitch of intensity, what somebody does in 10 years, you may do it in 1 year. So if you live for 100 years, it looks like you lived for 1,000 years. Simply because your energy is pitched up. This every human being can do. The whole yogic system is… one dimension of yogic system is just towards this. If you sit here, even if you simply sit here with your eyes closed, you don't sit here in a static way. You sit here in a dynamic way. You never become static, because static is called as death. If everything becomes static, that is death. If inertia really sets in, that is death. So sleep in yoga is seen as death. You die every day. How long do you want to die in a day? You really must use this word for yourself. Don't tell anybody, I'm going to die. For yourself, how long do I want to die in a day? 8 hours a day if you die. 1/3 of your life you're dead. In 24 hours, 8 hours you're dead means 1/3 of your life dead. Another 4 hours goes into eating, sleeping, eating, toilet, bath, this, that. Where is the time to live, I'm asking? So, if life is precious, the most important thing to do is keep your energies in an exuberant way so that life becomes more, life feels enhanced, because you cannot enhance time. Maybe you can live a few years longer, but you can't slow down time for yourself. Do what you want. Do whatever you want, time keeps rolling. As you sit here, since you came and sat here, you're about an hour and a half closer to your grave. It's a diagnosis. That was not me, okay? So, this is very important because one dimension of what we call as life, which is time. See, in Tamil language, this is very good. When somebody dies, we don't say he is dead, we say kalamaitannu. Simply means his time got over. Perfect description, isn't it? All that happened is time got over. So time is getting over as you sit here, yes or no? Hello? Those immortal beings, I'm asking you. Time is getting over. As you sit here, it's going away. So the only thing we can manage is, how intense is my life energy? For this, we have a whole lot of systems to slowly work on it, work on it, work on it in such a way, that, there were times, these days, one night is okay, second night I'm a bit down. Otherwise, there was a time, 3 nights if I don't sleep, continuous 3 nights, consecutive nights, I don't sleep, full day I'm working, full night I'm working. If you see me on the 4th day, I will be just fine, you won't even make out anything. Today I'm little, as I said, this excessive travel, I don't have enough sadhana to keep me up like that. But one night, 2 nights also I could manage, but one night effortlessly I will go, even today. There was a question about Dhyanalinga in this, which I missed out. What Dhyanalinga means is, because time is running out for me, like everybody else, I'm not saying I'm going tomorrow. Everybody should know, time is running out. Hello? As we sit here, it's running out for all of us. Because time is running out, people on the spiritual path will always wonder, after Sadhguru what? What do we do? So, this was the vision of another great yogi way back, that to establish a form which is like a living yogi, but he won't travel, he's always there. A yogi without legs, good or no? That he can't go anywhere, but a full-fledged being with all the 7 chakras and everything, full-fledged. Only thing is, he doesn't ask for food, good. He doesn't sleep, good. And he doesn't die, very good. And he doesn't go anywhere, very, very good. So that's the kind of yogi we created, who's sitting there right now. He can't walk, he can't talk, he won't eat, he won't die. Good or no? Insurance for future.
Sadhguru, you said about Kalamanar, his time is over. So is that time a finite time for all of us? Because medically, there is so much of billions of dollars being spent on trying to extend our life. So if we think that there is a finite time for everybody, so is this a wrong thought process to work on for research, or is it a futile research?
See, if all these idiots live forever, what do you do? The chant that I did in the beginning, Jananam Sukadam, Maranam Karunam. Death is a great compassion if it comes at the right time. If we really want to punish you, let's say we won't give you death sentence, we will give you a deathless sentence, you cannot die. You will suffer much more than death sentence, isn't it? Yes. So, only a fool who is inebriated either with money or hormones thinks he wants to live forever, you understand? Either money has blinded him or his intelligence has been fully hijacked by his hormones. Such a fool wants to live forever. Otherwise, it's very nice that you come, you live a full-fledged life and you go gracefully, it's wonderful. But we want to live a full life. What does a full life mean? Full life does not mean 1,000 years. Full life means everything that is there for a human being to explore, know and experience must happen in this life. It's very important. A full-fledged life. So for this, how long can they live? People are investing billions of dollars. They don't have to. If they invest a couple of hours a day, we can make them live a full life. In the sense, both in terms of experience and time. In terms of time, because our birth has a relationship with the cycles of the sun and the cycles of the moon, I will not go into the detail of this will get too complex. But to put it very simply, only because our mothers' bodies were in sync with the cycles of the moon, we are sitting here today, yes or no? Huh? If our mother's bodies were not in sync with the cycles of the moon, we wouldn't be born. So, there are 9 celestial objects which have significant impact on our body. Out of these, 3 of them are most important: the planet Earth, which provides material for our body; moon, which sets up certain basic cycles within our system; and sun. Everything here is solar powered. If one moves within you, these cycles are happening. In a female body, it's very obviously happening. Even in a male body, it is happening, but not so visible, because a man is supposed to fend for the humanity. A man is supposed to take care of the survival. Today, life has changed in the world simply because of technology, not because of liberalism, okay? World has changed because of technology, that our survival process is no more going and hunting in the forest. Our survival process is going to the office. Because of that, a woman also can go to the office as a man goes, and probably do better because she doesn't have to smoke, she doesn't have to look at the other woman. So she is far more focused on her work. Maybe she's more productive in the workplace. But man was structured by the nature. If we lived in the jungle, then man would be very important for survival. She would be important for other things. So if you look at the cycles, the lunar cycle is the shortest cycle that we have. There are other kinds of cycles, I will not go into the mathematics of it, but the largest cycle we can go into the solar cycle, which is 12.25 years long. So, whole yogic process on one level is focused towards taking the body from a lunar cycle to a solar cycle. From a 28-day cycle, we want to slowly push this into a larger cycle where our cycles are 12.25 years. If that happens, the system becomes a total ease. Physiologically, psychologically, you come to such a state of balance. We have specific practices to move a person towards the solar cycles. These are called Surya Kriya. You start doing this so that gradually you imbibe a certain dimension. These dimensions are always on. The influence of the sun, the influence of the moon, the influence on the planet is continuously on us. Which will we allow to maximize within ourselves? A woman within the childbearing age, her influence, influence of the moon is very heavy on her. That is a responsibility that she has, that's why we are alive, that's why we are born, that's why we are here, because a woman's body was made like that. But over that, her life cycle also changes and she can also move to others. Even during the childbearing age, she can leave the reproductive system in that cycle and move the rest of it away. It is very much possible for a human being to do that. So, as this happens, 1008 cycles of the moon is considered a full life. This becomes 82 something, a little more than 82 years, gets us to that stage. So we say, for the sake of safety, because there are certain other aspects to it, we say if you cross 84 years, you have lived a full life. There are many changes which happen in the system once people cross that 1008. So what is the maximum life a human being can live? See, in normal human being, I don't know what the medical science says, please tell me, I'm not conscious about that. Normally we see that by our own experience, a human being breathes between 12 to 15 times per minute. Is that the understanding? If you're breathing 15 times per minute, you're breathing 21,600 times per minute. 21,600 is not just an accidental number that you have arrived at. 21,600 is the number of nautical miles across the equator. And for every longitude that you have, between one longitude and the next longitude, the space is 60 nautical miles. This is considered as a minute. Anybody who is an aviator or a navigator knows this. We call the space as a minute, because that's 1 minute. And our breath and the cycles of the planet are very closely connected. If we drop our breathing to 12 on an average. Suppose by doing the right kind of practices, you bring your breath to 12, we say you will live up to 108 years of age. If you drop your breath to 9, we say you will live up to 124 years of age. If you drop your breath to 6, we say you will live up to 164 years. If somebody comes to a state where they come to a static breath, no breath for long periods of time, that means it's almost like you're hibernating and being reborn. Such a person, we call him a nirmanakaya, that means he recreates his own body. He goes into hibernation states and recreates his body. For him, we don't fix a time span, it is his choice how long he lives. Till he has a certain purpose, he may live and he will die when he's well. He will not die because of ailments, he will not die because of something, he will die when he is well. So, this is not like an absolute thing, this is a general trajectory of life.
Sadhguru, we are having a lot of young doctors here. So I would like to ask 2 or 3 questions on behalf of them. You said that in Isha Yoga there is no weekend. If you tell that to young doctors, they think there is no life. Because sadly, due to WhatsApp messages and Facebook and all the things that come, there's a big problem for the younger generation on work-life balance. So how did you manage to make a weekendless week? I'm just asking it in a selfish way for my hospital.
See, well, there are different things to attend to in life, probably. There is a family and there are friends and there is pleasure and there is picnic and so many things they want to do. But I was… first time, many years ago, first time when I was in the United States, they took me to restaurants which was TGIF. I said, what's TGIF? They said, thank God it's Friday. I said, what? No, the thing is, Friday afternoon means already they stopped working and they're thinking of a party. So they're living for the weekend. One who suffers the week and lives for the weekend is a very miserly life, isn't it? How come you don't enjoy the week? Only weekend? Simply because a whole lot of people, I am not commenting on your doctors, I'm saying generally a whole lot of people are doing things which don't mean a damn to them to themselves. It doesn't mean a damn thing to them, they're just doing it because it's a way of earning a living. Yesterday some television channel was misinterpreting what I said long time ago very badly. I said, when I was 10 years of age, I told my father, who was a very ardent physician, not a simple physician, very ardent. So all his life academically he's excelled in everything and a dedicated doctor. He became a doctor because he lost his mother when he was 4.5 years of age to tuberculosis. So there are very touching stories how he used to go to see his mother and she would put a towel on his face and kiss him because she was afraid she will infect him. And those days there was not much treatment, so they just built a house for her on a hillock, thinking that fresh air would cure her tuberculosis. But she passed away at the age of maybe 21 or so, 21 or 22 maybe, a young woman. So at that time, she told him, it's a very rich merchant family where naturally by the time you're 12, you're into business. So she told him, you must become a doctor. Because she felt if some other kind of doctor had come, she would have saved her life. We don't know what turmoil she went through, who knows. So he committed that he will become a doctor. And at the age of 12, when his father tried to force him into business, he left the family, went outside, leaving a very wealthy family and studying outside on the streets, and slowly he became a doctor. So the first thing he did was, he served in the Mysore sanatorium for tuberculosis. For 3 years, he worked in the sanatorium for 50 rupees a month. So he is that kind of a doctor, totally dedicated. Later on, he served in the government, whatever. So his idea of success is, you must become a doctor. If you're not a doctor, you're no good for anything, at least when it came to his children. That is the expectation. So I didn't want to disappoint him later. So when I was 10, I told him, this is one thing that I'm not going to be.
Did you know the future of doctors even then, or?
No, so all along my father was always worried that I'm not getting trained for anything specific.
See that there were many signs of opening. Walls were coming down. Many initiatives were taken to open up the world, which I think brought many benefits. If we look around the world now, there are many signs of closure. Walls are being constructed. There are many policy measures being taken by many governments, closing borders to persons, closing borders to goods. I wonder if I may ask how you see all this.
See, yes, it's true, you're seeing that as a global situation, but we need to understand this. Bringing down walls without bringing down economic disparity is not going to work. When we brought down walls, then itself we should have understood that we must strive to bring down disparity in the world. No man or woman wants to leave their home and go somewhere else to some strange land and live there just for survival. Nobody wants to do that. But it is estimated that in the next decade, there could be about 1.7 to 1.8 billion people moving or migrating. When that many people start migrating, your wall is not going to work anyway. Wall will work when they're in a few thousands, maybe a million, but when they go to a billion, your wall is not going to work, it's going to be a tragedy, because now you see a stream of people coming. Well, can every nation just open up its borders and say, welcome, live on the streets? Not possible, yes? So the thing to do is, which I've been striving to do and I'm failed to do, is in the last 25 years I've been trying to bring some key people in the world together so that this initially we started as 1%.com, and I try to create a board, and every time we are about to do it, some warlike situation comes and some nations back away and it never happened, all right? The idea was just this, 1% of what we invest in our defense forces, as we call them, arms and armaments, what we invest, if we contribute and we institute a board of people who are from responsible businesses to be given as soft loans to these businesses to start enterprises in impoverished societies where it's not profitable to do business. A business will naturally try to do business where it's most profitable. You cannot ask them to go and do business somewhere in one corner of Asia or Africa because they are looking at their profitability. Essentially, this attitude is because money is expensive. The money is expensive. If you give them a softer money, which is not expensive, for a gestation period of 12 to 20 years and very soft kind of cushion for them to develop an enterprise, develop the talent and create industry and business in impoverished societies, the reason for these people to migrate will go. Instead of making that investment, you invest in putting up walls, you will see walls will work to a certain point. I'm not even saying it's wrong, Because the sovereignty of a nation is essentially determined by the geographic borders. I'm not saying every nation can open up and let people inside, it's not possible to do that. But you will not be able to control it this way, nor is it very humane to do it that way. So the only way is, in some way we must see how economic disparity is lowered. We cannot level it absolutely, it's very, very far away, leveling it. But if we strive in the next 10 years, if there's enough investments going into various parts of the world from where people are migrating, if you start businesses there, if you start enterprises there, if you start economic activity there, then the need for them to go elsewhere to make a living could be reduced and migrations could be controlled, because nobody wants to leave their homeland if they can make a living there.
So if I may turn to our audience, the first question is from Jitendra Khanna, who is an ex-WHO employee. And the question is, physicists have concluded, as of now, that the universe is deterministic. So, is there free will for humans, or is free will an illusion?
See, right now, all of you sitting here, whether you sit here in a pleasant manner next to the person who is sitting next to you, or you abuse them, or you stab them, or you throttle them, is it by your will or is it by some universal law? I'm asking. Hello? Is it by your free will or no? Whether you look at them wonderfully or you look at them nasty, is it by free will or is it because of something else? The way the planets are spinning. Lot of people thought so forever, because people think they are the way they are because of the way the stars are moving right now. Unfortunately, a whole lot of stars they're looking at don't even exist, they're gone long time ago. But they're determining your future and your life. So, I see many Indian origin faces. In India, we have something called as karma. Today it's become an English word. In the Oxford English Dictionary, it is an English word. So I can use this word. Karma means action. Action means this. When you sit here, your body is doing its own things, it's acting, that's why we are alive. Mind is doing its own things. Our emotions are doing its own things. Our life energies are doing their own things. Every moment of your life, in wakefulness and sleep, these four dimensions of activity or karma are happening, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
From the time you woke up today morning to now, whatever number of hours, if you are a 12 o'clock person, it is just 6 hours. If you're a 6 o'clock person, it is 12 hours. In this 12 or 6 hours that you've been awake, how much of your physical, mental, emotional and energy activity has been a conscious process? Hello? How much do you think? Believe me, it's well below 1%. So when 99% of your activity is unconscious, obviously you think something is hitting you from elsewhere. If you make 10% of what's happening in body, mind, energy conscious, suddenly people around you think you're a superhuman being. Yes, people think you're superhuman, you're determining everything. If 100% it is determined by you, they'll start worshipping you godlike, because all that happened is you became more conscious. And the significance of being human is that we can be conscious. See, if you look at the nature and activity of your life, you're not very different from other creatures on this planet. They are born, you're born, they eat, you grow up, they grow up, you sleep, they sleep, you reproduce, they reproduce, you die, they die. It's just that they do it more gracefully, you do it with lot of fuss. So, your activity and the life that you do is not very different from other creatures. Only thing is, we can do the same things consciously. That's all the big thing about us, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
That is all the big thing about us. We can eat, sleep, reproduce and even die consciously. This is the big dimension of being human. So if you do not exercise this one thing, it is an evolutionary problem. You're going backwards in evolution. The life is striving to go forward. This is not your or my intention. Life is naturally striving to move forward. When you were a monkey, I'm sorry, this is not my statement. Charles, that Englishman, you know.
Yes.
Charles Darwin said this, when you were a monkey, you did not desire to become a human being, but the life within you is longing to move on to the next possibility. Out of that, we are a consequence. Hello? So the consequence is not of physical super capabilities as Hollywood movies are trying to show. Essentially, the consequence is we are more conscious. Because physically, if you become, let's say, far more capable than a chimpanzee or far more capable than a cheetah or a panther or something, you would just be a super animal. You became human only because you became more conscious than other creatures. If you do not exercise that consciously all the time, you will fall back in no time.
Thank you. So now we have a question from Nilufar Bawa, former employee of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria. What is the future of our planet? We are running out of water. The glaciers are melting. What happens when we run out of water? Will mankind and life go extinct on Earth?
We are not running out of water. Million years ago, how much water was there on this planet? Still the same amount of water is here. Only if some men go off to Mars, they will take some water and go.
Yes.
Otherwise, the same amount of water is here, it's not gone anywhere. It's not where you want it. That is something that you need to look at. Why is it? Why is water going away from human habitations? Why is it lodging itself somewhere else? Obviously, we are not living the way we should live. Very simple. Hello? We always went in pursuit of water. Where there was a river, civilizations developed. But now water is trying to move away from us. We must be doing something fundamentally wrong. Hello? Isn't it? We are doing something very fundamentally wrong in the way we are organizing human habitations. We need to look at this seriously now, very important. Otherwise, you have to go and live under the ocean, because that's the only place there will be water.
Thank you. So I stay on water, and this one comes from Sasang Pai, a cognizant. I came to know the Isha Foundation through Rally for Rivers. Please could you enlighten us on the possibility in progress and how we can contribute?
I think they showed something on the video about Rally for Rivers. We made a 760-page policy recommendation as to how Indian rivers should be managed. Because on an average, all Indian rivers on an average have depleted about 40% in the last 70 years. Some rivers have receded over 60 to 70%, major rivers. We must understand this, the European rivers are of a different nature and Indian rivers are of a completely different nature. Here largely the precipitation comes in the form of rain and also snow. And glacial water is probably the main source. I believe about 55 to 60% of European rivers are coming from glacial waters. In India, only 4% of river water is glacial, the rest of it is forest-fed. River is not the source of water in a tropical land. River is a destination into which the water comes. The only source of water we have is monsoon. And this monsoon pours down in 45 to 50 days in a year. What comes down in 50 days? All in the form of water, not in the form of snow. Because snow will pile up and stay for 2 months and slowly melt and trickle into the land. That is not how monsoons come. Monsoons come like a torrent of water, all liquid. So how do we hold it? We were holding it because there was substantial vegetation everywhere. So vegetation and the richness of the soil held it and slowly let it go in the form of streams and rivulets which all joined together and became a river. But we have removed green cover in such a way, if you have flown over India, if you fly from Delhi to Chennai or Bangalore, if every 5 minutes you look down, it looks like one brown desert, except for the Western Ghats and a few patches here and there, rest is all farmed totally. Because there is no vegetation and there is no richness in the soil, we are not able to hold the water. When the rains come, there is flood, otherwise there is drought. At the same time, at the upper regions of the river, there is flood, the lower regions of the river, there is drought at the same time, at a given time. This phenomena is happening mainly because of removal of vegetation. To what extent means you must understand this. For example, Ganga Basin, where it accounts for 25% of India's geography, 33% of India's agriculture, we have removed 92% of green cover in the last 60 years. What's the plan? So Rally for Rivers mainly is pushing towards putting back at least 1/3 of the green cover back on the Indian subcontinent. So right now, as a sample of that, we are doing one short river which is 54 kilometers, which unfortunately became notorious as the suicide capital of India, which is called as Yavatmal in Maharashtra, where maximum number of suicides happen. Almost every third family we meet has had a suicide in their families. So, we have taken this up hands-on project, where recently the cabinet approvals have happened and we are working on the ground. Our volunteers are meeting every family, 9,600 families in the Yavatmal region are being contacted and given a cell phone number. In case of any distress, they can get back to us. The fundamental is to change them from regular farming where there is no scale. They're just scratching land which is 2 acres, 3 acres per family. They cannot invest enough in a 2-acre land. If they invest, they become debt-ridden and drives them towards suicide. So we are seeing how to make them an integrated way of approach and also towards agroforestry, which will revive the river. A larger project that's coming up, which all of you can participate in whatever way you can, because we need a big push for this, is called Kaveri Calling. Kaveri is a river which flows mainly between 2 southern states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. These 2 states have been at war with each other as to who should drink more Kaveri water. See, if there were 2 glasses of water for both of us, we will drink our water and be nice to each other. Suppose there's only 1 glass of water between the 2 of us, we're nice people but we'll fight. Yes or no?
Probably. But
Yes,
I'm sure you won't.
No, if there's no water, I will also fight. I'm saying, people will fight, isn't it? Because of scarcity, people will fight. Even nice people will unnecessarily clash with each other. This is what has been happening. Here we have removed 87% of the green cover. Kaveri is very dear to me because I grew up around this river. Once I floated down this river for 13 days on just 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. I lived off the river. In my experience, I never saw this river and fantastic forest that was around as natural resource. I always experienced this as a life larger than myself. It's a much bigger life than you and me. And it has been there before you and me and it should be there after you and me. But right now we brought it to a place where it may not be there. What's been there for 1,000,000 years may not be there for the next generation. We're bringing it to that place. Right now the scientific studies show Kaveri has depleted 46%, but I don't agree with this because they are taking the monsoon flow also as the volume of water. If you leave the monsoon flow, if you just go and see the river after October, in my eyes, it seems like it's 25 to 30% of what it was when I was a child around that place. So it's depleted so sharply, it's been troubling me. So now we are doing this. This is a rally of a different kind. The Rally for Rivers was purely an awareness, because river is a concurrent subject in India between the central government and the state government. We wanted to bring that concurrence, which we managed for the first time. The 16 states at that time were ruled by 6 different political parties. For the first time, they came together on one cause. Otherwise, opposition parties have always been, whatever one says, the other will say just the reverse of it. This is how it's been. But they came together and spoke in one voice, which itself was a tremendous thing. It showed the maturity that there is, in spite of the daily fighting that happens, when real issues come, they stood up for one cause. That was fantastic. 162 million people supported this cause in 30 days' time. I personally drove 9,300 kilometers, 142 events. Literally, we were on the road 30 days non-stop driving and talking ourselves hoarse. But this did the job. Now, the Rally for Rivers recommendation became the official recommendation for the 29 states, that the government sent this as an official recommendation. 3 to 4 states are very proactive, they're going and doing their own thing, which is very good. Another 6 states we've signed MOUs, but now we need a large-scale demonstration. See, the important aspect of this is, we are shifting farmers from 3-month, 4-month crop pattern to agroforestry, which will multiply the farmer's income. Right now, we have transformed 69,760 farmers into agroforestry, and their incomes have multiplied 5 to 8 times in a matter of 10 years' time. So this multiplication of income will happen. Why I'm saying this is an economic plan with a significant ecological impact. That is what is important, because the moment you talk ecology, all the businesses become cautious because these guys are going to come and bash us. All ecologists or ecological activists always trying to hit some industry or some business. So this is what I want to change, and this is what we have successfully changed, is economy and ecology have to go hand in hand. If you pit one against the other, if you pit one against the other, economy will win hands down, ecology will be battered. So that is what has been happening, especially now in India, because we are looking for an economic surge. We are talking about becoming a $5 trillion economy. When we go like this, there is a possibility ecology could be trampled. So we are working with the governments because it's very, very important. This is something always, at least in India, the people who represent ecological concerns have never worked with the governments, always against the government. If you're serious about doing something, you have to work with the government. There's simply no other way. Well, there may be compromises because they have their own concerns, they have their own political and budgetary issues, and various other dimensions are there, not just some ideal that we hold. So this is a new trend that we have created, that ecological concerns are not of… People have always treated like this. Economy is today's concern, ecology is tomorrow's concern. I'm saying ecology and economy are today's concern, and they have to go hand in hand. So if you want to support in some way, Kaveri Calling will start in September. Just to tell you how it is being done, this time we are on a motorcycle. A group of us are riding down 1,500 kilometers, nearly 1,500 kilometers, down the river, camping on the river, creating about 35 events along the way. We are asking for the governments to give an incentive for farmers to shift from regular farming, which destroys riverine terrain, into agroforestry. This is yet to happen. Both the governments are examining the budgetary proposals that we have given. Whether it comes through or not, if it comes through, we will go propagating the benefits the government is offering, the incentives. If it doesn't, we use it as a people's movement to push the government towards that policy. But this has to be done now. What I see is, if we don't do this in the next 12 to 15 years' time, I think particularly southern region, Right now it is the most water-distressed region is Tamil Nadu, and it's also entering Karnataka in a big way. I think it's a clear manifestation. We don't care a damn about our children and their children, how they live here. It's a very clear statement as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to leave that statement.
Thank you. So this question takes us more explicitly to yoga. Yoga seems to be the current buzzword, from exercise as asanas to meditation for body and mind well-being. How exactly do you define yoga?
Oh, I thought we've done plenty of that. Yoga
Yes.
means union. Even the chant we did was just that. You do it somehow, okay? You do it with austerity, or you do it in a pleasurable way, you do it sitting alone in a mountain, or you do it being with everybody, somehow. How the hell you do it, it doesn't matter. Somehow, you should become like this, that if you sit here, your experience of being alive is fantastic. Nothing need to happen. If you sit here, you're alive and it's fantastic. Is it… let me tell you this. Right now, what is the most important thing in your life? Your bank balance, your business, your family, your relationships, what you're planning, or you're alive right now? Which is most important? Hello? You're alive right now, that is the most important thing, isn't it? So you do this much, I'll teach you a simple yoga right now. Tomorrow morning, if you do wake up, see, you think it's a joke. You're thinking it's a joke. No, mortality is not a joke. This is the problem with most people. Most people think other people die. No, you and me will die. Hello? You and me will die, isn't it? I'll bless you with a long life, but still you die with a blessing, isn't it? Mortality is a real thing. Every day, nearly 250,000 people don't wake up tomorrow morning. By natural process. So in case you wake up tomorrow morning, check if you're still alive. If you are, will you give yourself one big smile, you're still alive? Hello? Hello, will you do that? And every day if 250,000 people die, at least 5 to 10 million people would have lost someone who's dear to them. You check those 5–10 people who matter to you. If they're all alive, will you give yourself one more smile? Hello? To yourself, not to somebody. All of them are alive today, all the people who matter to you immediately. Will you give yourself one more smile? It is 7 o'clock and you're still alive. Please understand this, what is ticking away is not a clock, it's your life which is ticking away. Since you came and sat here, you're 2 hours closer to your grave. Hello? Yes or no? Mortality is a real thing. If you're conscious of it, then you will make the best out of this. You think you're eternal, then you live like a fool. You have time for all kinds of idiotic things. If you know life is ticking away, you will do the best things that you can do, isn't it? Hello? You will not do the best thing, you will do the best things that you can do, and this is all we can do. In your life, if you do not do what you cannot do, that's not the issue. But if you do not do what you can do, you're a disastrous life. So yoga means to avoid this disaster.
So, this question takes us to education, and it comes from Meenakshi Bana of the Bluebell School International in New Delhi. What can schools do to inculcate ethical living in a joyful way?
The moment you have lot of ethics, your face becomes long. Because it's like this. Let's say there is an ethic, thou shalt not kill for me. So I'm just holding my hands back, but I want to kill. But why do I want to kill? Why is it that I want to kill? We must look at it more fundamentally, isn't it? Rather than stopping it with a value that I set for my… no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So please understand this. Just try this right now. Shall we try an experiment with your mind? Next 30 seconds, nobody should think of a monkey. Try. Please close your eyes and try. Oh, only monkeys, isn't it? This is the nature of your mind. In your mind, if you say, I will not, only that will go on. Why are you making life so difficult? Why do you think you are born wrong and you have to be fixed? No. You think creation has made a mistake with you? Hello? You think creation has made a mistake with you? No. It's fine, the life the way it is fine. You become something because you imbibe all kinds of nonsense from other people. You call this religion, you call this education, you call this morals, you call this values, you call this philosophies, ideologies. For religions and ideologies and philosophies, we have killed more people than for crime, isn't it so? Hello?
Absolutely.
So, all these morals, ethics, values, philosophies, ideologies are only an effort to prevent crime. But in the end, these preventive measures have caused more death and horror on this planet than crime would cause, isn't it? So why do you think I would like to steal what is in your pocket? I don't care, first of all. Why are you telling me thou shalt not steal? I never thought of stealing anything from you. All this comes because you are in pursuit of happiness. That's the problem. Have you seen every one of you? When you're very joyful, what a wonderful human being you are. But if you're a little angry, frustrated, miserable, you're nasty. Yes or no? So this is what we need to create. We have been always trying to produce good human beings, which is a terrible mistake. We need more joyful and sensible human beings. This is what yoga is about. Joy is an insurance. Joy is an insurance. When you're joyful, you want to kill somebody? Hello? Only when you're miserable you want to kill somebody, isn't it?
Thank you. Now, I think if I'm reading, we're coming to a… may we have one last one, perhaps? Okay, there are many questions, but the last one from Hiranjani, Biz. Spirituality, and I think you've just been addressing this to some extent, spirituality and religion are often misunderstood at all levels. How could you explain the difference and the overlap in easy-to-understand terms?
Spirituality
and religion.
Religion. See, if you say I'm religious, you naturally identify yourself as a believer, isn't it? Hello? That you believe something, whatever that is. What is belief? Let's look at this. Something that you do not know, you assume. And if 10 of us assume that, this is my religion. If
See you soon for more discoveries and learning. Don't forget to subscribe and invite your friends to be part of this community of mutual growth.